hey, were you asking questions? Were you listening and responding in a way that was empathetic and showing that, you're invested in the conversation? Are you evaluating how you're interacting? Is the person leaning into the camera? Are they leaning back? Like, how is that, interaction taking place? So that's, I'd say, one of the application-based activities that's probably the strongest and most effective that we use and that we're seeing.
That's really, really interesting. Sean, what do you say? What sales training solutions you found most effective?
Yeah, echo a few things that Jessica mentioned there, but starting from the kind of macro level, from a strategic perspective, first off, it's breaking down the concept that training is not a time period, it's an ongoing program, right? And I think in a lot of organizations, training means, oh, you mean the first 30 days of when they're a new employee, and they drink through a fire hose with as much information as they could possibly shove in their face, and they wonder why they only consume, say, 60% of it, and there's all this drop off, and there's all these other issues with retainment and other things going on. So it's the recognition that there's multiple types of learning. And so we usually draw the line between those kind of what we'd call our soft skills, and hard skills are more like the tactical skills. And so when we break off the click by clicks, the application training, the Salesforce updates, and all the other things that, for lack of a better term, can be self-serve for most reps, technology does a really good job of automating a lot of those things. And we don't need to have as much of the one-on-one and the hand-holding and the coaching with those sort of things. So leveraging technology for those pieces. But I would argue that the most difficult part of any kind of sales training is the soft skills, exactly what Jessica mentioned. And I'd like to pick her brain on that, because some of that application training sounds pretty amazing that they're doing at scale there. And the hardest part is the empathy, the emotional intelligence, and that real-time feedback. And for us, we deal with a wide range of verticals. So any given sales conversation could be quite wide-ranging from a pain point perspective. So we narrow that in. But from our perspective, it's really around the call recordings. We use Fathom and things like this for note-taking, but also unpacking use cases, and then the coaching post-call. We try to do it as much as possible one-on-one afterwards. It's a very manual process, but especially for new green reps that are really trying to experience that, we're not just talking in theory. We find when things are talked about abstractly, they really get lost. But when we take a real conversation and we go, this is the piece right here that you missed. This is the piece I want to underscore. You mentioned this piece. Talk to me about why you said that then. And here's how we would like to sort of develop that talk track or whatever that happens to be. So it's that, like, let technology do what it's really good at, and then let the people do what they do best.
That's really, really interesting. Couldn't agree more. Dawn, what do you say? Over to you, please.
Yeah, I think really the best sales training solutions are always going to be the ones that hit them for different levels of knowledge and across those different modalities. So we use our product internally as much as we are selling it. So we aim for levels that include knowledge transfer. So whether that's a bite-sized quick update or an in-depth course, we upskill with practice. So we might need to build something that has different questions distributed with content, or some scenario-based role playing that we can still leverage within the platform. We will leverage checklists so you can track activities and keep people accountable for what they're supposed to be doing. We're able to use AI functions within our training as well. So that can be done with a mission that they need to do something actionable. And then there could be feedback loops associated with that, and that can have several different layers. So that could be a manager would provide them feedback. It could be someone not related, so we can have an independent person give feedback. So there's different incentives based on that, and different viewpoints to give someone feedback, which is sometimes a nice differentiator. And help someone get a different eye on whatever it is we're hoping to target for that activity, that training activity. And then also evaluation and reinforcement. We have quests and then assessments. So quests are our versions of space learning. And so the good thing about that is we can do a short space learning all the way up to, a couple of months of space learning, or we're reinforcing something we taught either, in a course or a quick update over time, somewhat of an adaptive learning. They're trying to get clear on that competency or something that we've asked them to learn. And so I think all of these kind of work together in their own way, and you have to be crystal clear at the beginning about what your intention is and how you want to roll that out. And all of these come together when you're creating that plan. And then I do want to mention, we do have, coaching, and I know the other panelists discussed it as well, but there's variations on how you can do coaching. And so the big thing that we do want to make sure is that this is an ad hoc, informal, old-fashioned deal review coaching. This is individual, personalized, formal coaching. And we leverage coaching forms, and again, we can have multiple coaches assigned, and it's even leveraged on mobile as well as on within the platform, so it can be done anywhere, anytime. Yeah, thanks.
That's really interesting, Don. Tell me a little bit more about, you mentioned about the AI function in training. Can you elaborate on that a little bit, please?
Yeah, so our platform leverages conversation intelligence. So we have Call AI as a feature, which is similar. I heard about some folks here using conversation tools. So our Call AI feature records calls and is able to pick up. It translates calls, and it also summarizes themes and tags content as well. So you can train the system to pick up those themes and tags and what is important to you. So, our customers use it in different ways, and internally we use it in a specific way for our sales reps. We obviously are, keen to identify which part of the sales cycle the call is in. So, we align it with MedPick, which is what we use, but we also listen to different reference points. So when we are going in via sales enablement, or their sales leader, or anyone else is going in to listen to the call, we have a clear understanding where they are in the process. It also identifies questions that were asked. It picks up on the sentiment, a variety of AI-based features that we've created, and the product actually still evolves over time. So it's a pretty robust intelligence tool. Really is very, very helpful too when you go back to look at an opportunity that was not one. You can pinpoint some of the variables, and then revise your enablement strategies to kind of target some of those factors if you're seeing a trend over time.